Hey everybody, Lex DeVille here, back with another lesson. This one's going to be talking about you-focused proposals. So we're getting into the good stuff right now. We're getting into the tactics and techniques. We're getting into the psychology of influence and persuasion. We are getting into stuff that I don't think any other course is going to teach you because they just don't know. They just don't know this stuff. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this over 10 years now, 11. We may be coming up on 12 finally. You know, a decade or so of influence and persuasion, not just study, but implementation in the real world, online, and everywhere in between. So, you focus is the start of this. And you focus isn't a traditional influence and persuasion tactic. It's a little bit different, okay? So, whenever you hear influence and persuasion, you might be thinking Cialdini, you might be thinking Dale Carnegie, just different things like that. But U-Focus actually has its roots in customer service. And it goes all the way back to my time working as a freaking burger flipper at Hardee's. I used to work at Hardee's when I was a teenager. And one thing I always heard over and over and over was that the customer is always right. And I've tried to apply that in my business and just over different areas of different businesses. So whenever I create something, anytime I'm creating, I'm always trying to make it valuable for the other person. And it's not just about the other person always being right, but it's a customer-centric focus. And that is where this you-focus concept was born. Whenever I first came into the world of freelancing, it was easy to see how many people they only talked about themselves. So this kind of does go back to Dale Carnegie's book on how to win friends and influence people, where he talks about people like it when you talk about them. And everybody likes to talk about themselves, and they like it when you talk about them because it shows them that you are not focused on yourself. You are not thinking about yourself. You are thinking about them. You're putting the focus on them. You're talking about them. And that is where U-Focus comes from. So it is a combination of customer-centric service and the influential tactics or techniques, whatever you want to call them, of Dale Carnegie. So how this works, U-Focus has two parts. And the first part of that is going to be second-person perspective, writing your proposal in second-person perspective. It is second-person perspective. You can Google this if you want, but basically, it's just talking about the other person. That's what you're doing. And you want to do this as much as possible. You're going to want to talk about the other person. You're going to want to say words like you and your instead of I and me and my. And if you do this, you're going to start to get them interested in what you have to say. So, second person perspective. How would I say this? I don't know, like you are going to the grocery store today. That would be second person perspective. I'm not saying I saw you going to the grocery store today. That would be first person. That would be me. I'm narrating from my point of view. You are going to the grocery store today, or you went to the grocery store today. You saw a cat. You picked up the cat. You petted the cat. That is second person perspective. So in your proposal, how you're going to apply this is you just start with the word you. And you can literally start with the word you. You don't have to. But this is the first part of U-Focus. So a lot of times I will start with the word you, and then I'll just repeat back whatever the client said their problem was. So if they say, I'm looking for a conversion copywriter, my proposal might start, you are looking for a conversion copywriter. You need help with emails and email copy. You need help with your funnels. You need help with this and this and this and this. And it's all about you. I try to put you into my proposals 10 times more than the word I or me or myself. And by doing that, it gets their attention. It's just like how whenever you hear your name, if you are in a crowded room and someone calls out your name, they may not even be talking about you. They might be talking about a different person with your name, but they call out your name and you hear it, even if it's just the most minuscule thing in the background, your head perks up, your eyes widen a little bit, and you look around like, who called my name? Somebody is talking about me. And you are the most important person in the world to yourself. So when somebody else does actually start talking about you and they start talking to you about you, you pay attention and you start to care what they have to say because it makes you believe that the other person cares about you. That's what this is all about. And here's the thing. Here's the little kind of pinch of secret sauce. You actually do have to care about the other person, because if you don't care about them, it's going to come through in your proposal, and they're going to feel it, and they're going to know that you don't care. So second person perspective, writing in second person perspective is half the battle of you focus. Now the other part of this that is going to make this so impactful is what we just talked about. It's actually being able to help the other person. So it's being authentic, it's being sincere. It's a sincere desire to help the other person. And this is a mindset shift. So a lot of people don't understand this. They don't understand that it's not about me. It's not about my 20 years of experience. It's not about my degrees. It is not about anything. So many people like write me and they say, I just love what you're doing, or I would love to work on that thing. Me as a client, I don't care. I do not care what you would love to do. I don't care about your degrees or your experience or how entitled you are to this job. I don't care how qualified you are to do this job. I just want to know, can you do this job? And do you want to do it in a way that is going to be in my best interest? So the second part of you focus, going beyond the second person perspective, going beyond the use of the word you and yourself, is just to want to help the client. It is to start to want to help the client. You have to begin to care about your clients. You have to begin to think like an entrepreneur. Think like a person of value. You want to be valuable to them. That is your entire goal in life when it comes to these proposals. So you have to read through their proposal. You have to pay attention to things. You have to show them that you pay attention, that you care, and that you might actually have a solution that's going to help them. And when you do that, your proposals are going to start to get responses, okay? You're going to start to get interviews. You're going to start to get more jobs. You're going to get hired more often. It's that simple. So you focus is the single most important technique that I can give you. Everything else after this is like, it's icing on the cake. But if you understand you focus, if you get you focus down, if you start to write in second person perspective, if you start to care about your clients and try to help them, do your best to help them, then everything else will fall into place. I guarantee it. There's no way it can't, because everybody else just focuses on their self, and that is why they don't get hired. So this is the number one technique. Use this, learn this, like let this thing sink into your brain, okay? Stew on it if you have to, repeat this lesson if you have to, get this concept, and make sure you get the downloadable that's attached, because that might help you kind of see what I'm talking about a little bit more. I actually put a screenshot in there. Actually, I'll just toss it up on the screen here real quick. And as you can see, there's some markings all over it. You can see how most people when they send proposals to me, they have it all marked up. I have it all marked up because what they send is all about themselves. It's all about I. And they put that in there a whole bunch of times, and they don't put you in there very much, and it makes me feel like they don't care. They're just there for the money. So that's all I've got for this lesson. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about some more cool stuff. I think the next lesson is rapport building. Next lesson is rapport building, so get in there and check that out, and I will see you soon.